Hello everyone, it's Game Citizen and today we're gonna talk about our beloved game, Ragnarok Online. We'll talk about what are Gravity's plans for the future of Ragnarok Online. So recently, Ragnarok completed 20 years old. It's getting really old, the game, right? It will complete 20 years of releasing open for everyone. I don't know when they released the closed beta. I think it was before August. But anyway, on 31st of May, I think it was on the 31st of May, there was a kind of a conference. There was a celebration there in Korea and they made some announcements and there was also some Q&A. And I want to talk about the Q&A because there they say some things about the future of Ragnarok Online. I mean, it's 20 years old. It's an old game, very old game. That's very old for an MMO, really old. It shows how good the game is because it's still alive, it still gets updates. So they commented about this new update, the Siege of Gods, which I believe it's a kind of a PvP system that already exists in the Korean server. And the idea is that the equipment that you can use in that form of PvP, you can only use these other kinds of equipment. So they're not the same as you can farm or get in-game. So I believe like cash shops and these things, they're not going to be related. It's interesting, but I cannot comment on it because I have not played it. I have not played in the Korean server, and I have not played in any server that has this kind of PvP system, but it seems interesting. But beyond that, what I really want to talk about is the Q&A session. And there they have some nice questions there for them. So one of them was like, oh, the engine is so old, it's like has been 20 years. So what are you thinking about the future moving forward? What are your plans? Their answer, this guy here, Jion Ming Wu, I hope I'm pronouncing the name correctly, said that most of their players are now older. So the requests are interesting. They're like making the buttons bigger. Because of course the vision gets weaker and it makes sense. So they say that like people are older now and they want to play like maybe with their children and that he feels a lot of responsibility. And that's why we're planning to improve the PvE content and everything. But to be honest, from this, what I could feel is more of the same and, quality of life improvements, which is always welcome, to be honest. Then there were some questions about that content in specific, the PvP there, the siege of something there, which I don't really care about it for now. And then they asked about what about the engine? It's really old. It's saying that it's been developed 20 years ago. It's actually more than 20 years ago because Gravit made this engine before they made Ragnarok Online. And their answer here, I translated automatically to English, so it's incomplete here. But their answer is that it's easier to create a new engine than to fix the engine that there is already. Fixed in the sense that too many things have, the game is far larger nowadays. So they are saying that it's not easy to remaster the engine, to redo it, improve it. They are working on it on a small side project. So what is that? Just one person taking a look at it? That's very inconclusive, right? And saying I don't have plans at all, but it's something they're working on, but they cannot share too much about it. So I wouldn't put too much hopes on it, to be honest. Maybe they're just like tapping on the idea and seeing if it's manageable or not. Then there are some questions about multiple clients, which to be honest, what's the problem with multiple clients? The problem nowadays, at least in some servers that they don't have bots, like the Brazilian server, because they use EAC, it's the macro. People put macro on their keyboards, so I don't know, you put the gunslinger and it keeps shooting everyone there, the monsters, and there's a lot of KS. But I don't see how this is a problem, so I'm gonna jump this question. Then more about that content, about the PvP system, and then there is the question about what they're planning to expand the IP. IP is the intellectual property, and Ragnarok has a strong IP. Remember there was an animation of Ragnarok Online? So they know that the IP is old, so most young people don't know about it nowadays. And they are planning on releasing more and more games based on Ragnarok. There are so many mobile games of Ragnarok, but most of them stay in Eastern Asia. But we had some here, Lost Memories, more recent, but before that, there was what's the name? Eternal Love, right? Anyway, they want to do more YouTube stuff and they want to make animations and goodies. But to be honest, I believe most people who play Ragnarok on mobile games, they have already played the game. I don't know, the classic Ragnarok. I don't know how many younger people who have never played Ragnarok will play these new games, because I have not played a single Ragnarok game of these mobiles that feels like, wow, this is so amazing. I mean, compare with Genshin Impact. It runs on mobile phones. Okay, you need a good mobile phone, but still, it runs on mobile phones. And it's for free. And let's be honest, if you have never played Ragnarok, chances are you would rather play something like Genshin Impact. I mean, I like Ragnarok, so I play Ragnarok, but I like the classic. I like to play it on PC. I don't really like the mobile. And actually, I'm planning on doing a video just to talk about the huge amount of mobile Ragnaroks. And not all of them are produced by Gravity, by the way. So they're saying they want to release a number of games using the Ragnarok IP, but many of them are not. I think Lost Memories was made by Gung Ho. Gung Ho is actually who owns Gravity, because Gravity has... They operate in the stock market, and most of the shares are owned by that Japanese company. That's why the Japanese server is better than the other servers. I don't know if it's better, but I don't know. They can do whatever they want in there. Then there's some questions about the future of Ragnarok, and that's the one that actually I think it was more interesting. So in this one, it's saying like, okay, the game's old. It's been 20 years old. The system is piling up too many things. Some parts are starting to get difficult to maintain. I have no idea what are these systems. They're difficult to maintain now. Anyway, the idea is to continue the service for the next 5, 10, 20 years. Because yeah, they can see that they have a player base that's very stable. They have money. Because it's older people playing the game, these people have money, so they spend on the game. Most players spend on the game. I mean, compare it with Fortnite, where most people are young. They cannot spend that much. Older clients spend more because they earn more. Anyway, they will keep the game going on alive. And he thinks that the game is fun to play when there is a lot of different people. And right now there are a lot of servers, but in the future they want to create an environment where everyone can come together. But maybe that would be for the distant future. An environment for everyone to come together. Wouldn't that be an international server? But there is one international server already, right? On paper, it should be international. It was at the very beginning. Eero, however you want to pronounce it, is international Ragnarok Online. But it's not international because it's region locked. For instance, Europeans cannot access it, which is mental. It's crazy. So what does that even mean? Saying they're like, oh, we want to have an international. I mean, they already have an international one. Just make it not region locked. Is it so hard to do that? Oh, maybe because of data regulation stuff. So comply to data regulation. It's a good thing there's data regulation. The GDPR that the European Union applies for the services in the European Union. I mean, or about the cash shop. Maybe there are problems in some countries because the cash shop is too aggressive. Yes, it is too aggressive, so don't make it so aggressive. What about that? Anyway, I don't know. We need to bear in mind that the people who created Ragnarok are not the same people that are working on Ragnarok right now. Even that guy acknowledged in that interview that when he came to work with Ragnarok, he thought that like the system was strong. So what I get from that is that the game was already there. And because the original designers, they went to do other things. They went to do True of Savor, other games, which, by the way, were not as successful as Ragnarok Online. But it's still, I mean, what's the future of Ragnarok? Let's be honest, the future will be making more mobile games. That's the future. And this game will die when all the clients get too old and don't play the game anymore. That's the truth. So I said because Gravity is, they operate on the stock market. And because of that, by law, if they want to operate on the American shares and stock market, they need to show lots of documents so you can access them in the US Securities and Exchange Commissions. And I will put the link down below. And it's a huge document. They talk about everything. It's about when it ends the year, the fiscal year, they talk about these things. And in there, they show that like Ragnarok Online, the classic, represents between 17.4%, between 17 and 20.8% of the total revenues that they got in 2021 and 2020. So that's like 1/5 of all the money. So clearly Ragnarok Online, the classic, the PC version, is not their main product. Most of the money they got from mobile games. 75% came from mobile games. which, by the way, of this, 25% of their total revenue, 27% of the total revenue was from Eternal Love. 27% was from Eternal Love. And it gave them $94 million. If you see on the document here, will be written like 1,000, but it's because each $1 here represents 1,000, just make things easier. So it's actually $94 million that they got with Ragnarok Eternal Love. And you compare it with Ragnarok Classic, it's far less. Now, if they want to make if they make most of their money with mobile games, and I understand that mobile is the future, well then, I mean, they need to have a strong IP, but they have been closing private servers. By closing private servers, they are just damaging the IP. That's what's happening. They do not get too much money out from these private servers. I mean, there are many people playing on private servers, and maybe they're losing some money, but not that much money. They have said that like in 2011, they have closed some private servers and they got $154,000 back. And that's dollars. In this part here, it does not refer to $1 is not 1,000 because there are the cents here. So you know it's $154,000. Now you might think, oh, that's a lot of money. $154,000, that's a lot of money. This is pocket money for Gravity. It is pocket money. From Ragnarok Online, the classic, the one that we're playing here, the one that my channel is about, with the American server, the IRO, so United States, Canada, they got $2 million just from that server. So 154, I mean, that's not that much money, right? $1,000 is not that much money. They're harming the IP, and most of their money comes from mobile games. So why are they hunting down the private servers? I mean, why? If a private server can provide a better service, then, I don't know, hire the people who made the private server. Or if the private server offers a service that Gravity doesn't, like the classic servers, then, I don't know, just let them exist. Or instead of closing them down, suggest them, buy them out. For instance, they could do that. I want to buy your server, and that's it. I mean, what's the problem? What's the harm in doing that? Make these people into partners. Swallow them. Make them friends with you. I mean, that should be the way to move forward. Otherwise, Gravity is just harming their own game. So, to be completely honest, I do not think they have solid plans for the future of Ragnarok Online. I think that we're not going to see too many new things. It's going to be more of the same. And I sincerely think that if this game really will have longevity, it will be through private servers. Because get other games, I don't know, for instance, Fallen Earth. Fallen Earth came back recently, right? But Fallen Earth never had a private server. So if the owners close down the server, that's it. But Ragnarok has so many private servers that if Gravity goes bankrupt, there will be billions of private servers. And I don't know, for some reason, I think that if Gravity went bankrupt and Ragnarok Online became, I don't know, anyone can do whatever they want with the IP, it would be fantastic. I think the private servers would be able to flourish like they never were able to. So, I don't know, there's not much we can get from this interview. It's 20 years of Ragnarok Online, and the game is just old, they're just milking money out of it. I love the game, I really love the game, but I love for its past, and the present of the game is good because of its past. And the past is unbelievably important. And I'm very happy to still be able to play this game. Unbelievably happy to still be able to play a game that's still alive. This is fantastic. But we have to be honest. At a certain point, we have to move on. Or maybe we don't have to move on. We'll all die playing Ragnarok Online. And maybe that's what we should do. Anyway, that's it, guys. So next video, I want to talk only about this. Only about Gravity closing private servers, which for me does not make any sense. I don't think it's a good model. I sincerely think it's not a good model. I'm not encouraging people to play on private servers precisely because of this. But anyway, we'll talk about it later. And also, I want to talk about these mobile games and why they will fail, why they have been failing, why they build one mobile game, then they close it. Anyway, see you guys in Midgard.